Speaking of shopping, this time I really outdid myself.
You know why you haven't seen my perfume collection review 2022 on this channel? Yeah? You know why? A wild guess? Because I keep buying them. I'm like, all right. Like, I'm gonna make this haul, and I'm gonna make like a video with overview of all my collection. But like, I keep buying things, so my storage is never finished. It's kind of a problem right now. I need to stop, and I also need to do a huge revision and like prepare like a batch, like a box that I should swap, gift, sell. But first things first, these are the things I hunted down all over the internet. We're gonna start. What are we gonna start with? Yes, we're gonna start with a few things that were actually thoughtful purchases. I made a whole video about green fragrances. If you haven't seen it, please go watch it. It's different from Perfumes, it's different from colognes. These essentially green, grassy, kind of bitter citruses, green mangoes type of fragrances. And the one that I probably love the most, or like the top 3 for me, is Herbae by L'Occitane. I tried it in a blind test sent to me by a subscriber. Then she sent me a travel, which I used up almost all of it, and then I dropped it, and the travel broke. So on fragrancenet.com, Herbae by L'Occitane finally appeared with a discount. One thing I really want to show you, I almost can't bring myself to throw away the packaging. The beautiful indented 3-dimensional packaging of this fragrance. For something that costs less than $60, this is quite extraordinary. And I love everything about it. It's really well stylized. So I have a full bottle now. To me, it's one of the most easy to wear, kind of reminiscent of Hermès Jardins, their garden collection, reminiscent of some Hermès colognes, of all of these kind of green, zesty, fruity, a little bit of rhubarb, a little bit of lychee, a little bit of some of the tropical fruits, but always mostly fresh, green, and almost grassy scents. I absolutely love it. And now I have a full bottle. Another fragrance that I wanted for years, but I only tried it once. So, you know, one of those types where you try it somewhere, it's like, oh yes, and then you read about 1,000 reviews about it, and you start wanting it even more. Years go by, you see it for a decent discount, and you just blind buy it, not even remembering what the whole fuss was about. And that was Lilique d'Imaginaire, French medieval style niche, which I love that aesthetic. And the fragrance is called Dome Rosa, and it is essentially dedicated to, I think, rosé, pink champagne. I mean, I love their aesthetic. There is something about Lilique d'Imaginaire that just really vibes with me. Interesting story. I wanted it for so long and so badly. Then when I finally got Dome Rosa, I realized I actually don't like it that much. It's okay, it's okay. It's a musky, sour morning rose. But in that category, I already do have like well-oiled working favorites. Like my staples, things that I go to, things that really work for me. These sour, berry, musky rose, it's just not that unique anymore. And when it comes to the champagne in olfactory design, it was all the rage probably 7 years ago, and I was dying to find a champagne like Asti Martini type of sweet champagne fragrance, and it's close as it gets to it, really. But like, it's just kind of done now for me. But I got it. I have it. I'll put it on my shelf. I'll look at this beauty for a while. And maybe I'll start wearing it at some point. We'll see. It's just, it's one of those things. I could not let it go because it was decently priced. And yet I don't see myself wearing it either. Go figure. Similar story, a brand that I wanted to try for a while, and the decant that made its way for me all across the pond is Sylvain de la Courte. I absolutely loved their vanille collection, never really invested in it, just kind of kept floating around as an idea. And then the decant of Valkyrie, and I had huge decant, like 15 ml or something. I wore for years, just like drop by drop. It was such a beautiful orange, kind of baked orange cookies type of vanilla. So when I saw it for less than $100 online, I thought, you know what? You know what? I'm gonna get it. And I did. Here's Valkyrie. I do enjoy the packaging. Very heavy, real metal type of lid. Very smooth. Everything about this so far so good. Packaging is fairly simple, but you do throw it away most of the time. So it's well enough designed, so it looks presentable and giftable, and yet it's not like you will have the hardest time recycling it. Valkyrie, to me, it's very gourmand, but not too edible type of vanilla. I wore it a lot, and at some point, it has a tendency, at least to me, to become less freshly baked orange cookies and more of a sweet myrrh. There's this gray Valentina, I think Valentina Myrrh, Assoluto, by Valentina, the discontinued designer gem that a lot of people loved. They are similar. They are, to me, it's like a very vanilla plus sweet myrrh, very closely meshed together. And when it does that twist in my nose, in the perception, I actually don't like it as much. I do prefer the freshly baked orange cookies plus sweet vanilla initial effect that I got when I was wearing it. That said, I'm still happy that I have this this bottle. I'll enjoy wearing it, especially if I get a chance finally to experience fall and winter weather, because it's been in the 90s here in Florida, just so you know. Hashtag global warming. Second one was a bit of a blind bet, but I just wanted to, just one more, you know. This and, that's how it goes. Vanori by Sylvain de la Courte. This is what the packaging looks like. Yep, it's upside down. Vanori, to my surprise, was an absolute smashing hit. I loved it to death from like the first spray. And everybody who smelled it on me were just like, what is this? What is this? This is so good. What is this? This is fruity Florent Frangipani type of vanilla. And yet it's floral. It doesn't get too whipped cream, coconutty, fruity. It doesn't get too much into a fruity salad category. It stays floral. It stays flirty. It stays moving. It doesn't get too sweet. It doesn't get too whipped cream. It doesn't get too heavy. It just has this incredible souffle, floating, cloudy property. And it moves beautifully in space. This is why, like, the first time I wore it, it was just a like, people could not let me go. I was like, what is it? What is it? Who is smelling? Whose scent is it? Vanori apparently is a crowd pleaser. This is the perfect balance of tropical florals and soft, tactful vanilla at the base. This is more like Florida winter. This is what I'm gonna wear ASAP. Pretty much as soon as we're done with this video. A rather intriguing exchange gifts of decants I got from my subscriber who decided to introduce me to the most hyped and spoken niche in European perfume communities. So here we have, let me upload a little bit. Here we have, let's get a blotter. Xerjoff, Southern Italian niche, Symphonium 2020 release. Intense Cafe by Mantel. Some mocha chocolate, which reminds me of Gourmand Coquine by Guerlain and 1,000 others. Yeah. And I guess Fluidity Gold by, without the cacao though, by Kirkjan. Yeah, this is this like slightly Baccarat Rouge type of sweetness, just ever so slightly, but more like Intense Cafe by Mantel, plus mocha. Not my thing. Not my thing. Okay. The next one, oh, I so wanted to try this. Stéphane Humbert Lucas 777 Mortal Skin. I tried it once in Harrods years ago when I was visiting London. And Mortal Skin, allegedly, is one of the more recent picturesque, very delicate, light leather fragrances. But not light in the sense of the zesty Rose Cuir by Frederic Malle, but more like delicate, soft, almost like skin plus leather. It's a floral leather scent. It's beautiful, it's demure, it's nuanced, it's not very bright, it sits close to the skin, at least that's what I perceive. I'm in love. Mortal Skin. I remembered the name because I was, oh, this is so beautiful. And it is. Okay, now I have at least something to wear while I'm salivating and kind of measuring my chances for a full-size bottle. And another fragrance by Stéphane Humbert Lucas 777, Une Nuit à Doha. These are dried fig. I already can tell. Ooh, this is gonna be good. This is a dessert fragrance. It's like hot sands, dried figs, dried fruits in general. Some kind of, is it amber? What's the sweetness here? If you love fresh, meaty fig, you know, like dried, is it figs? Fig tree. Yes, no? You know, the elongated ones. Oh, this is so good. Urgent correction. Attention, everyone. Not dried figs, dried dates. It's very Middle Eastern in that sense. The sweetness here just reminds you of those markets where you can like weigh dried fruits by pound and just have them with tea. What else is here? I like absolutely feel dominated by these delicious dried dates, but what do they say? Mandarin orange, ginger, fennel, tobacco, immortelle, vanilla, vetiver. Really? No dates? Amber woody fragrance. So it is amber accord. Vanilla, tobacco. Oh, to me this is, yeah, maybe a little bit of dried sweet orange, dried dates. Maybe a little bit of tobacco and just overly beautiful ambery vanilla. Not edible, not vanillin, but more like smoky, more kind of removed one. It's not as central. Oh, beautiful. This is so good. That said, there are a lot of fragrances like that, and I'm going to talk about a few here, that just give this almost like some sweet liquor, some dried fruits, some dark chocolates or tobacco, this or this, so kind of things that are packaged in this very like hookah lounge type of fashion with various flavors. I'm not sure if it can beat a lot of fragrances in my collection that already kind of answer that call, but for the purposes of having this with dates as central flavor. La Nuit de Doha, is that how it's called? Stéphane Berluca, Une Nuit à Doha. It does an excellent job. That said, I also, for the longest time, wanted to try the Premium Connection by Saint Dupont. I heard a lot of great things about them, and they have a very decent price point, somewhere between 50 and 80 bucks. And they're very well packaged. They kind of remind me of older boutique line by Yves Saint Laurent in terms of the quality of the package. And the one that I got to try, and they have quite a few and they all sound delicious, Noble Wood. And I must say I'm a little underwhelmed. Yeah, it's this like typical sweet, something like tobacco, dried fruits, amber, vanilla, somewhat of a like Grand Marnier kind of liquor, sweet liquor type of flavor, but it's not deep. Noble Wood, it does not really, it's not even that powerful. It doesn't really create a lot of the presence, and it's kind of redundant. Like, I can think immediately, I brought them here, of two fragrances I already have in my collection that are much, much cheaper. Where's the lid? That pretty much do the same job with ever so slight variation of flavor. That would be Midnight Amber by Oscar de la Renta, which to my memory has kind of the same, yeah, just slightly, just ever so slightly different profile, but again the same flavor with a little bit more of a amber woody base, and slightly more floral and slightly more raspberry-ish, but again very close to it. Fifth Avenue Royale by Elizabeth Arden. That one of those random flankers that is better than the original. And I even like this more than all the ones mentioned above. I think because it's like a liquor, something alcoholic, boozy, and raspberry syrup or jam. They do the same, they accomplish the same mission, and they're cheaper. I don't know. So it's all right. I mean, I think if you have it and if you gift it, if the person likes darker gourmands, they will like this one as well. And I presume probably most of Saint Dupont premium fragrances kind of fall into the same lines. But it's not unique. It's not unique, it's just not. It's just not. If you have 60 bucks, you have better places to spend them. Just saying. Oh, okay. Yes. The Mordor of contemporary niche. This one is the best seller because similarly to Aventus Creed, Baccarat Rouge, and some others, this fragrance pretty much kills everything alive in the vicinity of 10 miles. This is Ganymede. I don't know if the pyramid is gonna help here because the way that this stinks, I'm not sure there's anything natural or anything you can really discuss in terms of notes. It just cuts the air in half. This is a fairly new brand that had a viral popularity across the pond, especially in Eastern Europe. This is Marc-Antoine Bourrois, I'm sure I'm saying it right. And I'll type it down there below. And this is Ganymede. Ganymede. Goodness gracious. Oh, what could I compare this with? Probably with Orto Parisi as a brand. This particular creation. This is just... This is some synthetic fruitiness, intense mineral accord that makes me think of an aesthetic that you used to get into your gums when you went to a dentist. To me, this is how the dentist's cabinets smell or used to smell like. It's like almost one-to-one. They say it's saffron, suede, mineral notes, violet leaf, Akigai wood, immortelle, Italian mandarin, Chinese osmanthus. Okay, osmanthus gives usually a peachy or apricot-y flavor. And that's probably what's this fruity center. It's just so synthetic. Oh my god. This fruity flavor in the middle. But the mineral notes, it's like bleach. I don't know. Bestseller. Wow. Wow. I do not want to be in the room with a person who applied more than one spray of this. And I guess the close brother, Nasamato, which I think makes very similar type of compositions to what we just experienced with Ganymede. So Orto Parisi, Nasamato, they're all kind of along the same lines. Nasamato Fantomas. Oh! They're brothers. They have different olfactory profiles, but they are essentially made in the same fashion. These kind of cement, wet cement, this kind of city industrial dust that's mixed with very synthetic that's not melon. I think this is yes. Incredibly strong but clean synthetic melon with this case CT kind of construction type of mineral scent. This is how a lot of new buildings smell that hasn't had much decor put inside. They only have bare bone walls. Very strong. Has both Ganymede and Fantomas by Nasamato have a lot of projection. They have just out of this world longevity, and they're lethal. This purely lethal. I can't wait to find a friendly blogger with whom I can swap this for something else, because this is absolutely not my cup of tea. If you like beast mode fragrances and you like contemporary niche, let me know. Let's organize a swap, because I'll die if I have to smell this again. That said, I'm just saying, like, it's not my cup of tea, but those are, especially Ganymede, are best sellers in certain countries in Eurasia. A little cutie that I got because everybody's saying, like, this is the best gourmand that has been released in the last 2 years by Designer Market. That's a tall order, because I just stopped looking at designer gourmands a while ago. They're just so syrupy and just disgusting. I can't. It's just not for me. I only look at intelligent gourmands that niche can offer. And yet, Armani C Intense, the recent one, by many people that I know who have very vast collections and love niche just as much as they love designer perfumes, said that this Armani Intense, C Intense, in its new reincarnation, is delicious designer gourmand. Let's see. Oh my god, like, I got traces of Nasamato on my hand. It's just impossible now. Oh, I think I know what they're talking about. Okay, alright, okay. That makes sense. So it still is that kind of syrupy, synthetic, liquid sugar sweetness, but it has... What is it? Blackcurrant jam. Yeah, that's blackcurrant jam in it, which gives it a little bit of an interesting flavor. Similarly, like those fresh, fruity tuberoses out in the market are all kind of the same, with the exception of L'Interdit by Givenchy, which brings a new flavor of grape into the mix, while being essentially like the usual designer mix in that category. Similar here. It's the expected sweetness. I'm like literally hiding a hand right now because I can't. I just can't. I need to wash my hands after that mineral explosion. It's the expected sweetness, but the blackcurrant jam is kind of like, oh, ha, damn, not that bad. Not bad at all. Okay, I get it now. I think for me this would be perfect if I get a chance to travel to a colder climate. I think perfumes like that behave much better in windier and rainy temperatures. So I'll keep an eye on it. I have a travel now. So I'm kind of subscribing to the wisdom of the community here. And something that was gifted by a subscriber is, I wanted to try this for so long, Iris Poudre by Frederic Malle. I can't say that I'm like a connoisseur of Iris perfumes, because a lot of them are kind of depressing and boring. But I feel like I should like them. You know what I mean? Like sometimes like I should like that movie. I should like that book. That seems like it should be of my caliber, but you don't. So irises, I'm kind of split on them. And I really wanted to see what Frederic Malle had to offer in that department. So, Iris Poudre. I don't know. To me, it's almost like essential molecules plus iris. All of this, like contemporary clean synthetic niche. Iridelle by Nomenclature. Iris Rebelle by Atelier Cologne. And many, 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 many other Instagram niche brands that will put iris on the label. I'm kind of surprised. It's also very sour musky. Not the fruity musks of Tiziano Terenzi and such, but rather this like dry patchouli type of musk. Oh, sorry, yeah, kind of sourness of some kind. Like a vinegar almost. I wouldn't even call it that powdery. This iris probably needs to live on my skin for a little bit, and then I'll know more. So far, Iris Poudre by Frederic Malle does not jump, at me. It's like, oh, I'm the best iris I've ever smelled. We'll see. And a few kind of blind purchases that I kind of was like, let's see. First of all, I'm such a faithful devotee of La Mia Perla from La Perla that I think like half of the sales of that fragrance I'm personally responsible for, and I think La Perla should know about this fact. I talked about it to death to thousands of people at this point. And when they had a flanker, a black one, that they called La Mia Perla Nero, I was like, yes. And what do you think? It's just disappointing. It's just yet another one of those Antonio Banderas or whatever celebrity perfumes, something dark vanilla or purple orchid. It's just blah. It's just so blah. It's like this smoky orchid vanilla, but it's so flat. It doesn't have depth. It doesn't have any. It doesn't have any projection or movement, neither in space nor in time. I'm just very disappointed. I don't know what to do with this now. Well, I'll use it for something, but... And yet, it couldn't be more different from the unique, quiet, demure seduction that the original La Mia Perla has. It's just strange to me. Why would they do this? And the last one was a surprise favorite because it was $5. This is actually marketed toward men. I don't care. Salvador Dali Agua Verde. And I'm saying this because this is a G and not Q. Agua Verde. I just love Salvador Dali. I try to support them. I do not understand what the hell they're doing with their marketing. None of it makes sense. You guys just get in touch. Let's get a strategy pulled together. But every once when I can, I try to sample and see if it's good or not. So, this is an oldie. This is essentially a 30 ml bottle, which is kind of cute and very pocket friendly. Like if I were you, I would just throw it in the car. And again, so much better than 90% of what men wear these days. It's just this chillaxing, fresh, green, soft, kind of Mediterranean breeze on your skin. It's not too aquatic, it's not too mineral, it's not too sweet, it's not too green, it's just effortless. And it's $5. Well, you have to find it for that kind of price, but at least I found it for $5. It kind of looks cool. So Agua Verde, and it's an incredible cheapie, and I find it to be actually unisex. I don't even know if we have time to talk about this. Room 1015. I think maybe I owe you at this point a brand review because I've been acquiring samples of their fragrances, and the more I try, the more I'm intrigued. I got 3 from Scentbird, not sponsored. The ones that I've decided to try, so already I have, I'll save some of the kind of synthesized summaries for brand review, but here we have Purple Mantra, which probably is my favorite out of these 3. This is essentially an incense shop type of scent. It's dedicated to meditation. It's unexpected blast of incense, Purple Mantra. That's the name of the fragrance. Inspired by transcendental meditation. Yep, if you go to one of those retreats where they do bless the space or whatnot with various incenses, this is what it smells like. That said, do you want to smell exactly like that while paying niche prices for the perfume is a very good question to ask. So I don't know, it's interesting, but I think I need to wear it more in order to see is it unique enough. Lavender, freesia, iris, clary sage, and incense. But so far I really love it. It's cool. It's kind of cool. Yesterday, which I featured in Niche Fragrance Guide for Guys, because if you want to smell of the most delicious, sexy cologne, but be casual, be simple, not to be screaming, this is it. Devoted to beetles, geranium, lavender, cardamom, apple. It's just, I told you, it's like your lover coming out of the shower. It's both relaxed, soothing, yet fresh. But it's not fresh in oceanic sense. It's just freshly shaved, I guess, maybe. But it doesn't smell exactly like aftershave. It's an interesting one. It's both simple, yet kind of unique. It's like, it's a fresh take on the idea of aftershave that is non-banal. And the one that I like the least, not because of the composition, it's just because this smell is nearly everywhere where I live. This is Sweet Leaf by Room 1015, and yes, it is devoted to marijuana. What makes this fun is zesty, juicy red grapefruit. There's some eucalyptus and pot. I guess in those places where it's illegal, it's potentially buying a fragrance like that is so risque. You're so dangerous. I just like, yeah, it's like just walk down the street. You'll get that. And there are so many brands that are now exploiting the topic. Just to name a few, Kilian, Smoke for the Soul. A rare find. People are kind of hunting it down. I think it's a discontinued one, devoted to the same substance. But this is slightly more on the grassy side and a little bit oilier. And a little bit more of a dried, just also addition of just dried hay. That's number 2. This is not it. We have Comme des Garçons Ganja. Same concept. Let's see how they go compare. This room is gonna stink. Whoa! Okay, these are the smells of buds. Heavier, oilier, more penetrating in many ways. So Comme des Garçons Ganja probably gets closest to the origin, but in that sense for me it's the least wearable. Kilian, Smoke for the Soul, I would say probably the most elegant, but Sweet Leaf by Room 1015 is the most fun. It's very youthful, it's kind of fun, and I love the grapefruit in here. It's very rare for me to find grapefruit in scents that doesn't smell of pee or doesn't smell of just acid. This is a fun one. It's kind of growing on me actually. Alright, I think I'm gonna stop here. Thank you so much for watching. I have a fancy dinner waiting for me, so gotta go. Let me know if you tried any of this, if you heard anything that inspired you to find something else in your collection that you think is similar. I'll be waiting for your comments, and if any of these brands you want a brand review or any kind of grouping by notes, let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.